A very good morning to all of you as founder and CEO at Great Place to Study, and on behalf of our entire team and our organization worldwide, I want to warmly greet our distinguished authorities here today, our valued partners, our sponsors, our esteemed school leaders, our well-being leaders, our heads of school and school owners, as well as educational leaders from around the world. Welcome, truly welcome to Educational Excellence 2026, from flourishing to performance. And as we get started, I want to warm up and begin by sharing a very powerful idea that was shared with me over an interview just a couple of days ago. And I think it will resonate with the work that we're doing every day in the Great Place to Study community. So Andrea Schleicher said to me, you know, Andrea, what we measure is where we put our attention, he said. And where we put our attention is where we put our intention. Where we put our intention is where we make things happen, right? That's why we're all here. And for too long, he said, education systems have measured performance in isolation. And when we do that, we unintentionally create a very false tension, as if we must choose between well-being and results rather than see them, as Andrea said, two sides of the same coin. I loved that idea. So the goal for us today is not to balance well-being and performance. The goal is to really develop performance, or to understand how we can develop performance through well-being and not at the expense of it. When students feel psychologically safe, when they experience strong teacher relationships, and when they receive high quality feedback, when the anxiety gets reduced and agency is strengthened, that's when performance really rises. And well-being, then, we should perceive it not as something soft and not as the opposite of rigor, but what makes rigor possible. So performance that comes at expense of well-being is really fragile, and it leads to burnout, disengagement, and very short-term gains. But performance that grows from well-being is resilient, it is sustainable, and it prepares young people not only for academic excellence, but for complexity, autonomy, and for life. So what we don't see, Andreas did say, is very hard to engage with, right? And too often, the well-being, the agency, the resilience, the purpose, and that social emotional strength really remain invisible in our systems. Our responsibility, and we do this every day, right, is to build assessment systems that are more sensitive to a broader range of learning outcomes beyond academics. Because when we measure these dimensions intentionally, is that we send the signal of what really matters. And the good news is that we have the tools, right? So when we measure the well-being thoughtfully, we give teachers confidence that they can do something about it, and that they're not only accountable for results, but empowered to shape the conditions that produce them. So at Great Place to Study, we do believe that when we strengthen well-being as a foundation, we will call it today the infrastructure, flourishing of individuals and communities really becomes possible.